Fogarty. I live in Narragansett, Rhode Island. I am a URI College of Pharmacy graduate, class of 2007, and I currently work in community pharmacy.
Perfect. And what made you decide to go to URI for their pharmacy program?
There wasn't really an option for me. I knew I wanted to go into pharmacy, and I knew I wanted to go to URI. It's actually the only program I applied to. And when I went, they were doing the Centennial scholarships were really big, and the qualifications to get into the program were lower than the qualifications to get the scholarship. So most of us got the scholarship that got into the program, which is really a nice deal considering I would have gone anyway.
Nice. Yeah, it was the same thing for me. I applied to URI in Northeastern for pharmacy, and then everywhere else I applied to nursing, but I'm really glad that I didn't become a nurse.
Oh, that's so funny.
I don't think I would have been a good nurse.
You would have been great. You would have been amazing.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the same thing though. There's like so many options for nurses too. It's like with pharmacy, you think it's pigeonholed into one role, but there's so many options, and I feel like nursing is the same way.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Lots of avenues.
Yeah.
So you work at Green Line Apothecary. What does a typical day at work look like for you?
That varies depending on the time of year. So if it's heavy into certain vaccines, so during flu season, we're doing a ton of flu shots and things like that throughout the day. Other than that, just filling prescriptions, calling doctors, talking to patients, explaining things to patients. Just day to day, it seems like everything's the same, but every day is actually very different.
Very, very true.
Right? Doesn't it? Like if you think about it, we do the same thing every day, but every day is so different.
Every day is completely different. You never
even
know.
Just the vibe, even how you just feel going in is like just different every single day.
Yeah, for sure. You never know what you're gonna get.
No.
So what would you want younger students to know about your job and your role?
I think it's so important for the students to know how important our job is, and how valued we are to the community, and how valuable our job is, and it should be to us too, and how seriously we need to take our career, because it's a very serious position. I always try to keep everything really lighthearted in the pharmacy when I'm working, but I always make it very clear that I take things very, very seriously, and I take what we do seriously. And I think, especially for the younger students, it's exciting to see them, because when they come through, I don't know where they're going to end up, and there's so many opportunities. And even though I only graduated 14 years ago, it's just changed so much, and the opportunities have changed so much, and the world of pharmacy just keeps expanding. And I think that's exciting to know, that it's not just, one size fits all. There's just different opportunities for everyone depending on preferences.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and Dr. Estes were saying, we were like, we have to have Kylie in this, because she's like the most positive face of community pharmacy.
I love it. I mean, I don't love every second of it, but I don't know who does. But the amount of good that we get from our job is so much more than the amount of grief than we get from our job. And if not, then you're not in the right job.
Exactly. So why do you prefer working in the community over other settings like the hospital or long-term care or something like that?
Yeah, that's the same thing kind of. I don't really remember there being like that big of options when I was in school. And obviously there was always the hospital, and there was always retail. And I got a job in a retail pharmacy the start of my P1 year, and I loved it. I knew I wanted to go into retail pharmacy. Like there was no question in my mind that I wanted to go into retail pharmacy. And I was lucky to work with pharmacists who were extremely encouraging, and they liked their jobs as well. So that makes a big difference. I really enjoyed the time that I spent in hospital pharmacies, and I actually briefly worked in a retail pharmacy in a hospital setting. And that was interesting, because it was kind of the best of both worlds. When you're in a hospital, you kind of feel that clinical setting and the clinical vibe, I guess, more than you do in a retail or community setting. And you feel almost more respected in that environment. But I just didn't feel like I had the effect with people that I had in the actual retail pharmacy. I don't know. For me, it was just always that. I never wanted anything else. I wouldn't say I wouldn't be open to it, but I really genuinely enjoy where I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where was the hospital that you worked at?
I actually helped open Lifespan Pharmacy. So
Oh,
it's an outpatient pharmacy at Lifespan, which has exploded. And I know that there's at least 3, and then in addition to that, a specialty pharmacy, all under the same Lifespan Pharmacy title. So, and that's since 2013 we opened the first one.
wow, very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's cool, and they're very innovative in things. But it just wasn't right for me. But some people really love it.
Yeah, for sure. So, how do you handle difficult situations on the job? So, in customers that might not be so happy, or insurance issues, or what advice do you have for those situations?
So it's not always easy, and it's sometimes humbling the moments when we don't keep our cool, because that's what we're there for, but we are human at the same time. But I think that it's just a huge thing to remind ourselves that we're there to help, and if we can help alleviate anything at all, even if it's just a discussion and just to let them know that we're on their side and we're advocating for them, offering to do whatever we can to help, and just kind of giving people the options that are available to them, because usually there is an alternative option. It's not always you know a line in the sand and there's no other crossing it. It's tough when people become disrespectful, and I don't mind it so much on myself. More when it's my interns or my technicians, I get a little mama bear with it. But you just have to remember that we can either make their day worse or we can make their day better. And even if it's in the slightest way, it should be a goal of ours every day.
Definitely. And how has URI prepared you for this role that you're in?
It's so URI is so community based, and I don't mean community pharmacy based. I just mean it's such a wonderful community to be part of. And I actually think I became more involved with URI after I left URI. There was always, certain students who always stood out in the class that were very involved and very vocal in things about pharmacy world. And I just wasn't that student. I loved it, but I just wasn't that student that was very involved. But after college, I became involved in RIPA, and RIPA is the Rhode Island Pharmacists Association. They work very close hand in hand with URI. And I honestly can say that if not for URI, I wouldn't have had any of the opportunities. I was thinking about it the other day. We were talking about like students who studied abroad and students who went out of state, and I've been in the state my whole life. And I was kind of thinking like, oh, I kind of regret that, but I wouldn't have had the opportunities right now that I had without URI. I wouldn't have the networking that I had without URI. It's
Right.
it's funny how like my interns will come in and they're talking about their professors and they're talking about their teachers and everything, and I know them personally, and that's such a huge thing. I don't think a lot of schools or states would be able to say that.
Yeah, I agree. It is fun when I come into work and we can talk about.
Yeah. I almost think some of the younger ones are kind of surprised how like I still had the same professors, but maybe they were young then. I don't know. Maybe I got them fresh off the books, but
That's too funny.
yeah.
Okay, the last question that's like on the list I have is, how do you see the role of the community pharmacist evolving in the future?
I think it's incredible. Like I said, I graduated in 2007. And so the opportunities have just changed so much. The roles of the pharmacists in the primary care doctor's offices, that's huge, and that's really exploding. Obviously the ones in the hospitals are always so valuable anyway. And then retail, I think with this pandemic, it has just really, really opened everyone's eyes to the importance of pharmacies and the importance of what we can offer people. The fact that we never stopped, we never hesitated. We went to work every single day, even though the entire world was shutting down. It was always liquor stores and pharmacies were staying open. There's no question. And now with the vaccine coming out, and we're going to be the ones completely rolling it out into the general public, it's such an honor to be where we are right now, and we're just so lucky to be going to be able to help people in the way that we will, you know. I almost said be able to have the opportunity, and I don't mean it that way, but like in a positive way, in such a positive, like such a great thing with public health. And I think the role is just expanding to be even more respected, which I always felt like we were, but it's just such an honor to be a pharmacist right now. It really is.
It is. I know. And in the next few weeks and months with the vaccine coming out, I can only imagine what is going to happen.
It's going to be crazy. So I got mine this morning, and just the organization, I mean, right now it's the National Guard giving it out, and the organization and the amount of people that they had involved to give these vaccines, it was incredible. And we're going to have to do the same thing. And, you know, pharmacy continues to evolve, and it's not this, like I said, it's not one size fits all. It's a free for all. Anyone can do whatever they want within this realm. It's pretty exciting.
It's true.
It'll be exciting. So you're graduating this year. So in 2035, when you're talking to an intern, it'll be exciting to see where it is at that point.
I know. I can't even imagine, because I'm sure so much is going to change.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like even then, when I first graduated, we were just starting to immunize. And I used to have an appointment book where I'd only put one flu shot in an hour. And they would come in and I would sit down with them and fill out the form, and it would take so long. And now we just like bang them out. It's just, you move with it. It's exciting.
Yeah. Things change, things get better.
And we just have to keep pushing pharmacy forward, and we just have to keep showing people what we can do and stepping up in times like this.
Definitely. And I feel like pharmacy has definitely stepped up.
Yeah, we're definitely not going down.
Yeah. Those are all the questions I had prepared. Is there anything that you wanted to share that I didn't ask, or that you didn't talk about, anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just feel like URI is just such a wonderful program, and knowing all the professors personally, as I said, that I have, they care so much, and they just really, really want their students to succeed. They want the best for them. They're continually pushing the profession forward. They're constantly fighting for things that we're able to do. And it's just such a wonderful place. I think because Rhode Island is so small, and because we're so, like, we know everybody, and it's been so exciting, like I said, since I graduated, to see the professors that I know move. One that I had for infectious diseases is now in charge of the opioid struggle in Rhode Island. Like, it's nonstop caring, it's nonstop pushing things forward, and it's incredible.
I agree. The faculty is wonderful at URI.
Yeah, they really are. And I, like I said, I've said a couple times how long ago I graduated, but even still, people say like, "Oh, you're a pharmacist, did you go to URI?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, such a great program." It still fills me with a huge sense of pride. It never goes away.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So awesome.
And then I see students like you, and you guys are just killing it and just gonna continue to make us proud. So it's incredible. And the little babies coming in next year, they'll be awesome.
I know. Everybody that works at Green Line is just...
I know. I don't know where they come from. It's like little angels dropped them on the door.
I know.
It's so sweet.
All right. Well, that was great. Thank you so much for doing
that.
that.
Oh, my pleasure.